Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are back here with Dr. Kevin Richardson. We are going to talk, I know, today about hypnosis and so much more. All he does. Welcome. How are you?
Great. How are you? Thank you.
I'm good.
It's a beautiful Monday morning.
Where are you based out of? Tell everyone.
Out of Desert Hot Springs, California, which is just across the freeway from Palm Springs.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Nicer weather there than New York. And tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, what do? I help people achieve their goals through hypnosis and doing hypnotherapy. So there's 145 different there's things that hypnosis has been identified as being helpful. Anxieties, fears, phobias, weight loss, pain management, fear of success. That's an interesting one, where some people tend to shoot themselves in the foot when they're just starting to become successful in their careers. So we help them kind of move around that. Also, there's medical conditions that hypnosis can help with. Fibromyalgia, very interesting. They don't quite know what causes it. They're not quite sure what brings it on, but it does cause a severe amount of pain and a lot of discomfort, and it creates disabilities for folks. So hypnosis has been shown to work for that.
And so much more. How many hundreds of things does it cover?
145.
And counting. I'm sure there'll be more we'll figure out. Yep.
Yeah, and counting. So yeah. So over the weekend, I was kind of playing what if, and why not type of game. And so what if hypnosis was a recognized modality? And what if hypnosis was brought into the hospitals? Why not? Dr. William Kroger, a very famous MD who went on to become a psychiatrist. He's written books on how hypnosis helps in the medical field. And he was doing surgeries with just people under hypnosis. And they didn't feel any pain. They got up, walked off the operating table, went back to their room, and had very little pain afterwards. So that kind of got me to thinking, well, what if that we could get hypnosis into hospitals? What if we could get hypnosis to be working with doctors, in conjunction with doctors, to help patients get ready for surgery? So when folks are getting ready for surgery, it's anxiety provoking. It's kind of scary. And there's the fear of pain. There's the fear of, oh my God, what if I don't wake up from the anesthesia? And just going into the operating room is anxiety provoking enough. But with hypnosis, there have been studies that have shown that folks that have hypnosis in preparation for the surgery do better after the surgery. And they have less pain, and they go home earlier. They go home sooner and they do so much better. So it's like, what if?
Yeah.
It's almost kind of like the real estate agent thinking, what if I could sell the moon? What if I could? What if? And so that kind of set me on the journey of trying to figure out, well, who reimburses for hypnosis? Well, guess what I found out?
What?
Medicare does.
Really?
Yes, there's a billing code for it. 90880. It is a legitimate billing code. Now, the guidelines for reimbursement is that it has to be under a doctor's order and under supervision of a doctor. And because it's a psychiatric billing modality, they want either a doctor of psychology or a psychiatrist to provide it. However, I found a little loophole in that. Now, I don't know if I understand it or not, but there's a little loophole where someone under the direct supervision of a doctor doesn't necessarily have to be a PhD.
Hmm.
But I've got to get further guidance on that because I
Okay.
don't know sure. But there are insurance companies that do reimburse for it. So very interesting. But I, as a private clinician, I cannot bill for it directly. It would have to go through a doctor's office.
Got it.
So there are some really strict limitations with that. However, the good news is that they do recognize it.
Yes. And hopefully we'll recognize it even further eventually.
Let's hope. Let's
Right?
hope.
We've talked about that before. Yeah.
And so I really hope it is, because everything I have read that Dr. Mark P. Jensen, Dr. David Patterson, Dr. Kroger, and other doctors who have all were hypnotherapists themselves and trained and researched in it all say that it does help and it works in medical conditions. So it's very fascinating. I personally am really passionate about pain management. And so I personally really want to focus on pain management. However, I also want to focus on other medical conditions. There has been research for multiple sclerosis and hypnosis. Mixed results. There have been some where there's been minimal results, and there's been some where they really have said there hasn't been it's very negligible. But with fibromyalgia, they've had good results with that. With strokes, they've been trying it with strokes. And for some reason, some folks respond well to it, and they seem to have some hope with it. Phantom leg pain or phantom limb
leg syndrome.
pain.
Yes.
Yes. Hypnosis has been researched with that and have had successful results. So there's some really fun stuff going on in the world of hypnosis and in the world of research and research of hypnosis. So it, as a practicing hypnotherapist, it makes me think, why not? Why can't this be a part of the medical profession? So why can't we, and I guess my dream is someday the medical world and the hypnosis world come together and work together. I personally would like to connect with pain doctors and who are pain management doctors who specialize in pain. So many times the doctor gets just to a certain point because the medications, the body adapts to the pain medication. So as the patient goes through their course of their pain, they require more dosages, higher dosages of pain medication. And they have to keep changing it because the body adapts to the pain medication. Mm-hmm. But with hypnosis, they've been able to reduce the intensity of the pain, not necessarily get rid of it, but change the interpretation of it in the brain. The brain is such an interesting organ. It is so fascinating. We understand somewhat about the brain, but the mind we don't understand that much about. But in the mind, the mind controls the body. So why couldn't the mind control the interpretation of the signals that we're getting? So why couldn't it? And it's shown it does work.
Awesome.
I'm kind of all over the page today, but
That's okay. You're allowed to be. It's all right. I mean, it's your
well,
show. You go wherever you want to go, sweetheart.
it's like I'm over here, then I'm over here, but I am just so passionate about it. And I just so love helping people with it that it's like, just think of the opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a professor that always said, pick one, just pick one and stick with it. Well, I'm like a kid in a candy store. It's like, I went that one, and I went that one, and I went that one, and I went that one.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
I went that one, and I went that one. But there's so many opportunities with providing hypnotherapy that it helps the people's quality of life. And that I find exciting. That I find I want to get up in the morning and really want to move forward. And it's that passion and that excitement that gets me out of bed every day. And it's like, wow, when I'm done with, I have my clients after the show. And so it's like I do the show in the morning, and then after we get off the air, then I start working with my clients. And I just find that so invigorating.
Wow. And your passion, I mean, each and every week, we've been talking for months now. And I love, when you talk about this one woman in particular, which I got to ask for the update because it's one of the
Yes.
biggest accomplishments, right? Because she had the fear of falling and you've been working
Yes.
with her on that. But
Yes.
your eyes light up. How is she doing? How is her progress going?
Oh my God, she's out of bed. Months in bed, refusing to get up. Now she's sitting up, and she's it's a walking frame. So it's like this big chair that you get into, and you can sit on it, but then you can stand up and walk with it. And it's kind of like a walker that goes completely around you and surrounds you. She loves being in it.
Yeah. Loves
being in it. And when we first saw her, refused to get out of bed.
No.
Fought, screamed, fought. Oh my gosh, just such fear. And we did 9 sessions with her. It was some mixed results. However, after the 9 sessions, she was sitting on the edge of the bed.
No.
A little anxious. She was still anxious, and there was still some fear there. However, we were able to, through hypnosis, get her to the point to where she could sit on the edge of the bed. And I had a client a year ago. Oh my God, when I first walked in and saw her, she was in a fetal position, in bed, sobbing because the pain was so severe. And after 10 sessions, we had ups and downs during that time. I mean, there was periods where her pain was higher than others, but she listened to her tapes. She followed through with her homework, and there is homework, and I like to call it home play.
Yeah.
There's nothing more fun than sit in a recliner and listen to a tape and close your eyes. That's such hard work. And it is, it can be. So, especially if you're in a lot of pain. But after the 10th session, she was cooking and preparing a buffet for her grandson who was graduating from college.
Wow.
And she was getting ready to drive the 3 hours, to go in the car for 3 hours from Palm Springs to LA. And She was singing the last time I saw her, and she baked me a little loaf of black walnut chocolate chip
I know
bread.
you have a sweet spot. I remember the story about Christmas, right? That cake or the cookie
Oh,
you ordered.
oh yeah, yeah. And my spouse brought home some Girl Scout cookies.
Mm, can't help it. Can't help it.
So, um, but it is so much fun to watch folks get better over time. Um, one of the folks I was working with had a fear of needles and was diabetic. Well, needles and diabetes, they go
Mm,
together.
yep. Mm-hmm.
You do have to check your blood levels 2 or 3 times a day. And it does require finger sticks. And your fingers get so sore afterwards. So they were thinking about getting the continuous monitoring. It's a monitor that sits on the back of the arm, and um, it sticks into the arm. Real apprehensive about it, wasn't really following through, had the prescription, had the doctor's orders, just never went and got it. So through hypnosis, we were able to get him to go and get it.
Wow.
He got it. But it was still, I'm not going to pay attention to it. I don't know about it. It's needles, and I don't know. Well, after 10 sessions, he put it on himself. And he read the material on it, which before he wouldn't do. So he read the material, and then he put it on,
Mm-hmm.
and he started monitoring his blood sugars. And then it was, well, my diet isn't all that great. And he was like, well, meat and potatoes kind of person. It's like, okay, well, that doesn't exactly go with the diabetic diet, because I know. So through hypnosis, we were able to get his diet in line with what it needed to be for his diabetes.
Mm.
And he hated vegetables. Wouldn't even consider it. And we did 4 sessions about vegetables. And the last time I spoke with him, he said that he was going through his wife's recipe books, looking for vegetable recipes, and he was cooking the vegetables. He was doing the cooking. He was doing the planning.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to figure out different ways. And I said, well, how do you feel about the vegetables? He said, well, I don't know if I like them,
Or,
but I sure enjoy eating them.
uh-huh.
And his kid was developing that same, oh, Dad, we don't like vegetables. And oh, that. Well, as the fathers, as my clients' attitude towards vegetables changed,
Mm.
so did the kids' attitude towards vegetables change.
Wow.
So it had an impact. And my last session, my client said, my wife has a message for you. I said, oh.
Mm.
And he said, yeah. I said, well, what's the message? He says, tell him thank you for giving me my husband back.
Oh.
And I just thought, wow. And I said, really? Well, tell her thank you for the support, and really supporting your efforts in making these changes. So over 21 sessions, and that sounds like a really long time.
Yeah. Beautiful.
We were able to remedy fear of needles. We were able to remedy the dislike of vegetables. We were able to remedy gagging around people.
Mhm.
And so we accomplished a lot in that period of time. And his wife was just so thankful for all the changes that we made. So um, another client, we're working on some other types of issues, and one of which is anemia, low red blood cells. The body isn't manufacturing red blood cells as it should. And they were supposed to go in for a blood transfusion.
Mm.
And that's pretty serious when you have to go get blood transfusion.
Mhm.
And so they asked the question, would hypnosis help that? Well, the research is kind of mixed on it. And again, it goes back to the mind control over the body. And so we did several sessions of just building red blood cells. And so when it came time for him to go in to get the transfusion, they did another test of the blood cells and they said, you don't need a transfusion. Your
Wow.
blood cells have come up. So he started manufacturing red blood cells. I can't attribute that to the hypnosis directly, but in my fantasy world, I'd sure like to think it did.
Mhm. Yep.
So with MS, again, mixed results. But some other types of medical conditions and disabilities, hypnosis has worked. And
Mhm.
primarily it's working on folks's, is that a word, folks's?
I
Let's just say it is. I'll play it is.
Mhm.
But they have shown that by building self-confidence and self-esteem, it really supports the patient's efforts when they're in rehab, and building their self-esteem and building their self-confidence and their self-worth through hypnosis. It does help them through the process of going through rehabilitation. So they do use hypnosis with different types of addictions, drug
Mhm.
addiction, alcohol addiction. Um, I do have some colleagues that do work in the rehab centers for addictions and work with clients on addictions. So there's just many different areas. I just find it all so fascinating. Like I say, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I want one of those. I want one of those. I want one of those, and I want one of those, and I'll take a handful of that.
Yep.
And to really stay, but I guess my passion is pain management.
Yep.
That's my, that's what I really, really like. And we talked before that there's 50, approximate 50 million people, Americans, living every day in chronic pain. And what I have learned is that you don't have to. You don't have to. Hypnosis has been shown to help reduce or change the quality of the pain to where you can become more productive and improve your quality of life. So that's what it just gets me up in the morning wanting to go for it.
Aw.
And I hope if there's anyone listening that does live with chronic pain, get a hold of me. There is help. There is relief available. It can work. It just takes time, but
Mhm.
it does work. So I guess it's about that time for the website.
Not yet. We still have 5 minutes, but
Oh, okay.
oh,
Well, we
wow.
got 5 minutes. Oh my gosh. We
Unless
can
you wanna talk really slow, www. dot no, I'm kidding. You're so fun. You're so
Uh,
fun.
so, I guess to kind of wrap up today, I've been kind of all over the place. I've been thinking all weekend about what could we talk about today? And I just thought, why not talk about the dreams? Why not talk about the what ifs? Why not put it out there into the universe that hypnosis can partner with the doctors in the hospitals and make a difference?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it can, we can be in the hospitals and working with folks. We can be in the emergency room with it. I'm I'm certified in trauma with hypnosis, and when folks are coming in and they're in severe pain in the emergency room and they're screaming in pain, we can put them into hypnosis and get them out of that so quickly. And it does work. It does work. So that's been kind of my dream this weekend. Why not put us into the emergency rooms? Why not put us into the operating rooms? Why not put us in the post-op areas? Why not put us into the orthopedic wings
Mm-hmm.
and to where we can help folks? I was reading the 3 most painful surgeries: back surgery, hip surgery, and knee surgery.
Mm.
As I was reading the 3 most painful orthopedic surgeries. Now, I understand there's different types of surgeries, and then there's childbirth.
Yes.
That's a pain I'll never know.
Yep. Lucky
But
you.
I can
Yep.
only sympathize. I can only sympathize with.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so my dream is that we can get hypnosis into the hospitals and that we can get it being reimbursed on a regular basis in the hospitals with using the research that has been presented by the 3 huge medical doctors and PhDs that have done the research. Dr. Mark P. Jensen, Dr. David Patterson, and Dr. William Kroger. And Dr. William Kroger really was an advocate for bringing hypnosis into the hospital. And he was able to demonstrate that using hypnosis as instead of anesthesia really made a difference for the patient, and they got better much quicker. So why not? Why not?
Well, you are a believer. I mean, you discovered, for those that don't know, tell them just, we have 2 minutes about your situation. Right? You did hypnosis. That's how you discovered the benefits of it because
That's how I
somebody
did it.
here
I
had a
did
fear of
it.
public speaking. What? Who? Kevin
Yes.
Richardson? No way.
Oh,
Yes.
I'd get up in front of people and I couldn't say 2 words, and I was blah 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 blah.
And now he
Now you
just
can't
talks
shut
like,
me up.
yeah, but in a good way. You would never know.
And weight loss.
Yep.
I went to hypnosis for weight loss. I've lost 28 pounds in a year. Now, people are going, shouldn't be more than that. No, it shouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
more than that. With normal, healthy weight loss programs, it should be about 1.5 to 2 pounds a month. And you're going to go up, you're going to go down, you're going to go up, but you're on an overall downward trend.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to my hypnosis tapes almost every day. So I always look forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's remind everyone at this time now how we can get in touch with you, Kevin, to
Well,
work with you.
my phone number is 760-902-2274. Allow me to repeat that: 760-902-2274. And my website is www.kevinrichardsontherapy.com.
Perfect.
So it's been a delight as always.
A delight, like every time. I really enjoy talking to you. You have so much
Well,
you're just a good person overall, and obviously you're
Well,
doing great things. No, you are.
thank you.
You're a
Thank
good
you.
friend,
Thank you.
Kevin. And
Yes.
in closing today, leave us with some positive thought for us. Come on, give us something.
Oh, let's see. Every day above ground is a good day.
Perfectly said. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.